Sometime you can find yourself playing a game. Sometime you can find yourself wondering what to play. And between all of that, well, there is an intermediate state. Now, it's not a place where we panic. Usually. It's not a place where we fight. Usually. It's not a place where we live. But then, what is a hub? I remember the feeling of playing Mario Galaxy for the first time, which is rare because I have a very bad memory and I'm very goal-oriented. Still, the ambience of this game really caught me. Which, if you are listening Nintendo, please don't sue this video. Thank you. The ambience is certainly not the only matter for which I remember the game though. The observatory would be the visible icing on top. Of course this place contributes a lot to the ambience, but again, there's more to it. There are no enemies, I can run, jump, enjoy my time here, relax, sneak peek, take mysteries. Look, the environment evolves as the mission parameters are met. If you were to look into my playthrough, chances are that you would see me in this hub. You too probably spent more time here than in the levels. I know I did. We pass more time within this threshold than in the experiment itself. The choice of making it a relaxing place is quite clever. Certainly it contributes to the aura of calmness the game has, but it also evacuates the stress or excitement between levels. In totality, those things participate into the ludonarrative coherence the atmosphere of the game first gave us. See, the hub isn't only the game's continuity, a disguised menu, but the mean the game has to convey the sad and alarming state Harmony and by extension the Galaxy are in. What's peculiar is that the more you progress, the more interactions there are, and the more the mood lightens up. The more you help, the brighter it gets. In that case, the hub isn't near the story. It is the story. In Baldur's Gate 3, you fight through blood and sweat to help or doom the world. Every action you take on the field are to find, kill or help. But you have a camp, this game's hub, and in it is your story, not the world's. I mean, the companions you gather in here are on the shelf until you need them, most of the time. But the lie is preserved because it's comforting, because despite the carnage outside, this feels like a home to return to. A home where, for change, you, the player, are the focus. Despite everything, it is still a comfy lie. The world's, not your story. In many LEGO games, this one is interesting, you might have a very lively but grounded hub environment, with small interactions oriented toward completing the game to 100%. How the game links its levels, or should I say game modes, because when we look at it, the hub is the game's pretext to link disconnected levels. Here, the hub is an arcade, blunt and disguised. In Minecraft, a hub is... Whoa, wait. Where is the hub in Minecraft? Where do you come back to? One can check the answer by talking about the hub in a server, in the case of Minecraft, but we can pick it apart with tweezers a bit more. You're playing in a world, you're collecting resources and amass them, wherever it be in a mound, or like most players, in making a base. Where is the hub? Is it the server's lobby? No. It's the base you built. It's the dirt hut, that resource chest and the zombie head on a pike. Nice decor, by the way. This base is a comfort zone. It's all about you, because you made it, about the others. Because you've taken from the world to make your base. It's an arcade because it's source for games you've made. fishing ponds, harpers, resource management, and whatever can be deemed interesting or amusing. The number of meaning that a hub can have is astronomical, so let's trim it down. Design-wise, it's a crossroad, it's a pathway, it's an in-between point. We could say it's liminal?
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
No, I am not going to talk about that. Yet. So in terms of raw design, a hub is first something with purpose, second, it is something you come back to, and third, it's a place. So a somewhere, not a something. Ever heard of the suspension of disbelief? Look at that. A cage. It's important for experience to not feel cramped if you want to be immersed. Here the game scripts at you to move in the UI and go touch the controller when clearly some more creative angles could have been taken to make the place a bit more hospitable and overall fun. Especially for a game like Little Big Planet, a sandbox game. A cage. I love Skyrim. Especially in VR. You come back in Whiterun for quests or for other things. Probably because it's the first place you will buy a house in a game. Add to this that Whiterun is in a plain at the center of the map and you get for many players their hub. But you can only do the quests one time in this town. The entry point is situated far away behind the loading screen, and the liveliness stops as soon as you understand that this is a 50-year-old RPG. Or you hear an NPC repeat its protocols for the 66th time. Right, Nazim? Right.
A cage.
Speaking of NPC dialogue. So, I stumbled on a commentary on our blog about someone posting that they were sad when in a video game they've exhausted all the dialogue an interesting NPC had. You know, content drought, often born of budget limitation. Sad. Very sad. Well, what does it look like when your hub is finite? Cannot or is not being refreshed by a mechanic, emergent propriety or high-end replayability. What would a doctor think if he never changed and came back to his TARDIS again and again for few thousand years of his 1 million year calendar? Well, truth be told, we kind of already know. Many games just hide the menu behind the facade, just an empty room with portals leading you to levels or whatever you're supposed to be doing in that hub. We all know what to expect, we understand the Tacite rules. Do not stray here, there's nothing to do. Go elsewhere, do not stray, there is nothing here. So as a result, a hub is the most pure example, between all the interactions of what you can do in a game, of a showcase it has. Funny that we talked about promises. We all can agree on the fact that a hub is a safe haven, as we saw, a place to relax, but a game being a good student can also be a bit boring. It's possible to be subversive without breaking the suspension of disbelief. Especially if the mood of the game is a chaotic mess, or is based around trolling the player.
Get the headshot off my keyboard, please.
Imagine, if it was a movie, it would be Star Wars 8. Or a hipster. Anyway, let's not forget ourselves here. Elden. Elden Ring.
Ring, 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 ring. Banana phone.
In the round table hall, this happens. Breaking the rules with mechanic, in this case the invasion, is a very good way of subverting expectations for reasons you can guess. What's more horrifyingly magical than the first time? That moment when you don't know if the monster, let's say Mr. X, will follow you. You don't know, That's what makes the tranquility special. You can't taste the peace if there is no fear to compare it to. Strange. This inconsistency, this lack of comfortability is also what makes the hub even more of a resting place. Because you can't truly savor the gift of tranquility if you don't know there is a slim chance for it to poof away. This little study into horror within comprehension is funny, because I think there is a lot of impactful ways horror constructs itself onto what could be studied and applied in most games that aren't of the horror genre. Wouldn't it be cool if hub could be invaded randomly by friendly players in an Animal Crossing, under a set of rules? Wouldn't it be awesome if sub-game allowed for you to obtain mystery props that would have other purpose only once in the hub, like you would find the key items in a Resident Evil, being surprised every time you find an item that works in that place, rewarding your sense of discovery and curiosity. In the beginning, the hub is the center of the game. It being interesting with its promises is the key to make someone care to come back, since it's the crossroad and you have more chance to finish a game there than in any other place in the game world. Said otherly, it means the player is going to come back there. It's an anchor because humans have a tendency to come back to what they have closest as a home once they accomplished what they started. I wonder if the reason is because it's our society model lives, if it is nature or nurture. After all, you go to work, it's a process, and then come back home, your objective. Rinse and repeat that for an entire life, and the brain could by association and conditioning make the clock tick that way. Either way, point is, the brain is conditioned for the loop. If the anchor lacks depth, the pacing of the experience withers. Remember when I talked about liminality? So, some of you might already know what this is because of a certain trend. Let's tread this trend's thread carefully. All hubs are not necessarily liminal, because liminal spaces are not places we should normally live in. To that effect, this flabbergasting Minecraft house isn't a liminal space. Hubs of poor quality or hubs made to be transient spaces are more easily liminal. What's the mix to attain such a state? Pile in some empty and smooth aesthetic. If you can, make it be uncomfortable, make it so it is a place to live, and make mechanics sublime the fact that the use of this place isn't fulfilled. Exactly when you're in a mall and there's no one here. When you're on a Gmod multiplayer map and no players are goofing around anymore. It should trigger that same uneasiness, dread, what can have when walking headfirst to the ruins of an empty street, except this time, your home. Since the hub is generally your home in a video game, when it does not become it by default, like in A Hat in Time, Darkwood, or Blade and Sorcery. If you push the liminality, this choice of design is useful, if a team doesn't have the time to develop a hub. Just like hostile architecture, it drives people away. But unlike hostile architecture, it isn't used to harm people, but enhance experiences so that the game can highlight its strength. Otherly is just a useful concept, but it should be thought out. The pieces of a piece of art have meaning meant to sublime what a piece means together. Also, I think, the hub should be a main instrument in the play of the orchestra. I intended to end the discussion on liminality here originally, but since I know it's popular but interesting, let's bring about some few examples. What can I say? Scary stuff makes me so happy, okay? Do you remember when we talked about Minecraft? Okay, what makes this house liminal here? Well, I don't know for you, but when I'm doing something, I often play something not too noisy in the background, and since finding new videos is always bothering because of YouTube's poor algorithm, well, I end to revisit 10 years old video games and videos. Among which I remember following a YouTuber who has controversies for good and bad reasons, but he played early. Beyond the appeal for retro gaming, Minecraft, in its alpha state, had a je ne sais quoi, and sometimes it brings me back to it. Except we don't do je ne sais quoi in design. It's liminal because old is far away, and remember us of what was worn out. Add a flag lighting and overall saturation of the old textures, which participated to thinking everything is synthetic, the fog, and you got yourself a solution that can rival social fear, worthy of some creepypastas. So let's proceed this way. I have made a little list encapsulating hubs by type. So let's review those archetypes from least to most interesting. The nomadic ranger. Very often it sucks to have to trail back to a place of rest, so some have found a way. They appear on your journey to your objective. It's the case with the bonfires in Elden Ring and Dark Souls, or Star Citizen, where they chose to be decentralized in cities filled with interactions, sometimes exclusive to some of those hubs, making you have to choose where you should land in function of your needs. The Healer Cleric. Hubs to live in, more comfortable than what we are given outside. Functionally, it's a checkpoint, but that place is also here to empower you, if not through its optional mechanics, at least from its healing capabilities. This is a place of security and a breathing space, it being a junction from two parts of the game, almost feeling disconnected. It's opposed to a hub that can be deployed in the world. Hence, why its most known feature is saving your progression. Following example of this type is Mario Galaxy, in which you also heal the hub, bringing to life the observatory, and yourself. Amusing, this is both ways. The Storyteller Mage. You always have some kind of dialogue going on when you return here, before finishing the game. If you know the rules, show don't tell. Well, the game here tells, because in the outside world showing narration is expensive. Features of those spaces can include journals, enigmas, and cryptic mysteries. The Bloodshed Knight. If the cleric is about peace, the Bloodshed Knight is about prep. They function as mechanical stress testers. There is provided a training dummy or the arena environments where the player can upgrade their DPS or test a new build without the risk of losing progress. It falls right on your typical die and retry. I thought about putting competitive game training area for a while here, but fair to say, we might have a hard time to agree there are an hub. There is also the Social Bard. These hubs are very complicated to be resumed, yet let's give it a try. Dear chat. Alternatively and mechanically, they are hubs formed from an agglomeration of players, like in Dofus or in front of the auction rooms in a MMORPG, like say World of Warcraft. And finally, yourself, because you're a champ. In the case of a hub, you deploy your build. The function is yours to decide, but the hub still places you within the limits the designer intended for the game, if it has not emergent design at its centers. Because the practical and utilitarian humanity value mostly usefulness behind the design of those places. That's the least that can happen in the hand of the common. A lot of those places aren't that unique. That goes only for most of the players, of course, not everyone. The beauty of those places comes in shade, as when people work out and derive what they truly want in here, perhaps by being moved by passion, these places gain something more than just a progress-gathering hole. What it can evolve into can be predicted by design, by using the player's archetypes. Obvious that a player with a knack for decoration would value the aesthetic of their hub, wouldn't it? What makes it for me the best types of hubs is the fact that you can grow them into anything. Therefore, if custom hubs are morphed into any type of these previous hubs, they are better, because they reflect what you need. They suit specifically you. Plus, there is the process of building, which is interesting. Video game is a stage of interactivity, and a place of entertainment here is somewhere as interactive as possible. Acknowledging a player is agency, and agency is given through interactivity. So, how do you enjoy making your hubs like? Your base? Whatever you like to call it. By the time I am writing this video, Pokopia came out, and I wonder if the players playing it are going to be able to turn islands into their wish vision, like the ones who came before. Would that island become the hub then? This is quite absurd, and quite absurd indeed. A hub is a place of concentrated tools for the player, so we can imagine it more like a spectrum metric rather than a brute and finished lines of archetypes in an open world. A hub, a place of rest, still, from the tumult and common pain of the world presented to you. An in-between place you come back to. Hubs are here to cultivate your direct desire to launch into the experience of its games. All good ones wield and harbor the game's intentions to that effect. They can come in many different shapes, with sometimes the player having a say in the matter, being capable to transmute the said hub. These crossroads have a lot to give an experience, as even if they can reflect anything, you can be sure to be at the center of them, for the better or for the worse. I wonder what you will do there next.